It's going to be an annoying bird. Dang birds. Oh, I don't know if someone or somebody is going to call, so we'll see. So, anybody in here yet? No, I never get some people in here. Right. There's my thumbnail. So there's my ugly mug. Right. So we'll get some people in here and we will talk about. You were almost first, nothing witty. You gotta be quicker than Daniel. There's nobody quicker than Daniel. Nobody quicker than Daniel. That's what she said. Ha! Just kidding, Daniel. So we'll tell a story here. We'll do some shout outs first. We're out here in the back porch. And like, dang, Steve, you never work. Alright, so there's a lesson to be learned here. And there's something for you guys to think about for those of you wanting to be an owner-operator. There's something that you should know. That bird's kind of distracting, isn't it? All right, we got Daniel Adame, Pale Rider TV, John Armstrong, welcome back, who retracted his message. Mike Miller, Bruno, Mike Mentor, Nothing Witty, GNC Family Trucking, Lugnut, Dio, Scott SRO Logistics, Grafton, Haggy, nailed it. Let's see, Anthony Bressler, Mike Miller. What am I drinking? I'm drinking water. Just the fancy pH balanced water. No alcohol. I know, that's boring. It's boring, I know. But, you know. Describe, good evening. Alright, so as you guys know, last Monday I had my tooth pulled. If you've been keeping up, if you haven't been keeping up, last Monday I had my tooth pulled. And they had to put stitches in there, like, because it was a wisdom tooth, right? The red chicken will get rid of that bird, right? And well, if it gets too annoying, we'll move to the front where you guys can hear traffic. But anyways, thank you for so much for reinforcing why I never bought a truck. All right, so I knew I was going to be home this Monday. And I knew that the blitz was happening from Tuesday to Thursday. So I want to make sure my truck's in tip-top shape. So I brought it into Kenworth, and I wanted them to needed a PM, needed a DOT. I wanted them to pay special attention to the brakes, make sure they're good. I wanted all the fluids changed, not just the oil and all that, but all of them. You know, the hubs, you know, training, all that. And then an overhead. So laundry list, you know, because I want to be able to run this summer, you know, with the exception of some stuff coming up in June and July. I want to be able to run, you know, decently. So, because I have goals. And that's when, you know, when they're tearing things apart, that's when they start finding things that, you know, happens with age. So the first thing was they found that the hubs in the front were over torqued. So they got to be replaced. $553 a piece. So yeah, that sucks. And then they got to the rear. The front pumpkin was fine, but the rear is not. And so it's like $790 just to tear it up. to see what's happening. They found metal in the oil, and so we're seeing what's going on. So I'm hearing estimates from friends that have had this done anywhere from 3,600 to 5,000. So we'll see. Loud bird, yep. The birds are having a heyday because it's somewhat raining, so the cats aren't outside. So yeah, so what should have been a $1,500 job is probably going to be much more. And that is why, see, here's the thing. By changing this oil out, guess what? I am preventing a breakdown on the road, which would have cost time, it would have cost hotel and or rental car, and and I could have been under load. So by doing preventive maintenance, I was able to avoid that and use a shop that I know and trust. So that is the advantage that I have by running the way I do. And so to have that done on the road, there's no telling what that would have cost. There's no telling what would have happened. So I'm very grateful. So every time there's a major issue with the truck, it's a roller coaster, because part of me is bummed, but then you have to look at your blessings of what you do have going for you. And at this particular time, what I had going for me is I'm at home. We found it early, and we'll see what happens. So hopefully it won't be too much, but knock on wood. Well, I actually got wood right here. So there you go. Either way, it's gonna hurt. But we got it. We got it covered. Cascade says start over. Any Snorelord, when I missed this point, I'll go over it again. Did they look after the oil of the transmission? Yes, that's what they're doing now. You won't have those problems when you get your new Volvo complete with UAPU. And that's the kicker, because the warranty on the rear was done about 20,000 miles ago, and I think a year ago. I mean, the truck is, let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Wait, that's not even right. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 6 years. So, hello. With the magnet beside the oil, there's a chance to see the engine damage. No, Haggett, there's no engine damage. The metal is in the rear end. So, I'm here. I was talking to Harold when I missed. We played some golf today. Nice. So, Cluster Chucker, what's up? Thomas. Taco. So, anyways, for you guys just now getting in because you're late, we found the hubs have gone bad in the front, and then the rear is showing metal in the oil when I went to go get that changed. So the rear differential. So, but we'll see what happens out of that. Rear TJ. My boss predicts all drivers who have been riding the COVID couch will go back to work in September. Yeah, look, cash is king. What's up, man? I hope so, because I want to find them a job. Yeah, in the trucking world, I don't know how many people are still staying home because of this, because the rates are so good. But it might get interesting if there is an influx of drivers at the same time volume comes down. But I don't see volume going down anytime soon. Hey, rears always has some metal. Even some chunks is making any noise. No, I don't think it's making any noise, but like I said, it, at worst, or at the least, they're charging $800 to tear it apart to see if everything's good to go. So, and that might be the case. They might, because I'm not really that hard on that truck. I don't, I'm not trying to pull 45 through, the Pennsylvania hills or the mountains in Utah or anything like that all the time. So. Man, this phone just keeps losing its brightness. I do drive like an old man, Ratman. Ratman's ridden with me in the personal car. Ratman scares me when I ride with him in his personal vehicle. 7 years built, December 2013. Got a parts truck you can buy soon. LOL TK. Well, thank you, Alexander. I appreciate that. Money well spent, better to know. Right. And look, I'm glad it was done here. I'm glad we're finding something early. And hopefully, when I get the truck back, it'll be, like new again. So I don't have any intention of selling it right now, and I don't have any intention of buying a new truck. Sorry, Steve. Unless someone wants to throw me a really killer deal, wink, wink. Then that bird has to go find a friend. It does. It's probably trying to get some, right? I still think a lot of demand, lots of empty shelves at Walmart in it yesterday. Where is that, Cassius King? Our Walmart's been doing pretty good. There's still a large amount of demand now. With that being said, let's talk about brokers for a second, okay? Never mind my truck. Let's get rid of that idea, okay? Yeah, it was long overdue. We got it. We're getting it done. So when the bird stops, the sirens start. Welcome to Springfield. We got Mother Nature and other crap. So I have a friend, literally wasn't me, okay, who is under a load from a major broker who is doing the load for about $2,000. And when he got the bills, the original price that they're paying the broker is on those bills, on that paperwork. $4,000 is what they're making on that. So if you go back to Eric's video where he talks about how our high rates have helped them negotiate higher rates, there's some truth to that. There's truth to that. Not some, but there's truth to that. And, there were a lot of theories that back when COVID world was going on and everybody was trying to move stuff for $1.40 a mile, they were still making that $3,000 and $4,000 for those kind of loads. They were just holding tight to it. Because, why? Because there was less loads. So, there was more trucks than loads. And it just goes to show you that it doesn't matter if there's transparency with the brokers. You're going to get what you get. And if they don't want to give you that much, they won't. They'll find other ways to get it done. They'll either put it on the rail, or they'll find somebody else to do it, or they'll just let it sit for another week. So I'm just putting that out there. Can't hit a player, get it, bird. Make sure to replace the drain plugs. They are magnetic and lose their strength over time. You stop at the Walmart in Kankakee, Illinois off of 57. I've never been to that one. I'm usually hitting the one in Vandalia. They're on 70. Be nervous when you live stream your sirens. That's true. No. So, Anyway, so that's the update. So we're possibly looking at a new rear end, but possibly not. So, but they're working on it. Let's see where my truck's at. We can actually do that. Me being Mr. Safety Guy and all, I can see where all the trucks are at. Yeah, see the cat's out here. Hey cat, get that bird. Don't meow at me. Don't talk back to me. Alright. Yep, still in the same spot in the garage. So yeah, that looks like. Yeah, there it is in the shop. Yeah. So anyways, the demand at Walmart is playing after the consumption of the same day of year before. The computer order, no human. The low volume was way down, and then their revenue was down. That's why rate per mile means nothing to me. It's total revenue per day, per week, per month, per year. And that's right. You guys hear that? Hope that's fireworks. What did I do today, Steve? We had a long lost family member reach out to my wife, and we spent the day with them. Went to Bass Pro. By the way, Bass Pro still has no ammo, unless you want something called 400, and there was 7.62 or something like that. I don't know. No. That Kankakee Walmart is good, easy to get in and down the road from Speedway Truck Stop. Okay, that's good to know. What exit is that? Yeah, we went to Fantastic Caverns, which is a drive-through cave. You don't drive through it. You get on this Jeep with the trailer, and then they drive you around and you look at stuff, and it's cool. All you did today was play golf, drink beer. Someone has to do it. 308? No, they did not have 308. Oh, exit 308. I thought you were talking about ammo. Exit 308. Okay, thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, you got all you guys. That's got to be fireworks. It is fireworks season. There's a lot of like all year long fireworks stores around here, and it is close. You know, May you can buy fireworks, and I predict record sales in fireworks this year. You grew up around there? Oh, okay. So yeah, that bird shut up once my cat. You guys want to see my cat? There it is. She's on the prowl. She's like, I'll get that bird for you. Is it 308? Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'll have to remember that. Every now and then I'll flirt with Kankakee or Joliet. I try to stay outside the loop in Chicago, but you never know. If it pays good, I'll go in. As long as nobody's rioting. So. If you have to have the new rear end, will you increase the torque? No. I don't change things around. My truck does pretty good. I don't, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of guy. Yeah, so. Now, hopefully the overhead will go smoothly. So I don't know if they haven't called me back for anything else. So maybe that's good news. I know the gateway was unplugged today. So that might be them working on the overhead. So we'll see. But there's no check engine light showing up or anything like that. So, but it's kind of neat to be able to see my truck when it's moved and when it's come out of the shop and all that. Great Freight Sage Logic. Hey, what's up? Hey, Eric, I had, I don't know how long you've been in here, but there was evidence of what you were talking about with the driver that I know about negotiating high rates. All right, let's see what Thomas said here. Can't go over the torque limit on your transmission, Steve. 1700 should be your max. I ain't touching anything, Thomas. I don't. My truck does pretty good. My pack car will, believe it or not, don't laugh, but it'll actually outpull the Freightliner going up the hill. So, Jose, what's up? How's it going? So, just the other day, yesterday. Probably quiet, right? Yeah. Well, did you guys hear about the incident at the casino in Green Bay area? I don't know what came of that. I didn't watch the news, but it was my scanner radio was lit up. RN, how's it going? So, but to reiterate what I was saying before, since a lot more people have come in, preventive maintenance is incredibly important. And if you find stuff early while you're at home, dealing with a shop that you know and trust, that's better than something breaking down somewhere in the middle of BFE and you don't know if they're going to get it done right or treat you right. So, saves you on hotel, saves you on rental car, saves you on downtime. So all my downtime is, I've been kind of blessed. All my downtime that I've had has been here. So, because what you guys don't realize is that I've when I do have something major going on with the truck, I bring it home, and a lot of times when you see me live stream from the house, that's the truck's actually in the shop. So, can't go anywhere anymore without thinking of that stuff. I think 2 died and 4 injured. Yeah, Bruno. It's we were talking about that. Earlier, it's a different world we're in, and like last night, we were coming home, and we heard it was either fireworks or gunshots. But they were loud. They were like they had to have been major fireworks, and that was not too far from our house. And we did hear sirens afterwards, but there's no telling. I didn't turn on our scanner to see what it was, and I did watch news this morning. We'll see if the news pops up with anything, but I do follow the local news outlets here on Facebook, and they haven't really produced anything. So, it sucks. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, you might hear gunshots, but it's somebody target practice or hunting out in the woods. You're not worried about street violence. Your first 2 numbers on your transmission code, like that number plus 50, tell you the max torque rating. Okay. Engine delivery, fuel pressure problems, and my latest check engine issues. Oh man, Jose, that sucks. Great Freight Sage Logic, found it. Some people have too much time on their hands nowadays, but the numbers keep changing. Yeah, I mean, look, you can't, think about what people living in, urban areas of St. Louis and Chicago and Dallas, what they've been, this is normal, it just sucks that we're heading towards that dystopian, remember the first RoboCop, not the new one, not that crap, but the oldest, RoboCop from the 80s, and the life that they portrayed in that, it's literally here. other than the robot. We don't have robots yet. We don't have robot policemen, but we do have robot pizza delivery things. Have you guys seen those? Little Domino's has got those little cars that are self-driving that they're experimenting with to deliver your pizza. So I thought that was interesting. So yeah, the future's here. The good parts and the bad parts. And so while we advance technology and we think we feel enlightened, the reality is that crime's getting worse, poverty's getting worse, violence, is getting worse, and it's going to be every man for itself. I agree, RN, because you don't hear of, like what happened in Colorado, you don't hear of at the grocery store, you don't hear, you do hear about that sometimes in a red state, but it just depends on, how much are the gun-free zones, Nevada Trucking and Trails, what's up? Steve, how do you know that we don't have humanized robots around us now, like Nancy Pelosi? I don't. Let's see. Chilling in Kansas City. Cool. I had been on a load that was going to pick up Tuesday. That was going from Kansas City to Joplin. And I had to retract that bid because of my truck. I'm not talking about the state. I'm talking about the macro level and what city you live in. Yeah, but I mean, Missouri's a red state, but Springfield is it's becoming more liberal. Missouri's Springfield's kind of a weird spot. And what's really affecting us is the heroin. And that's something that no one's talking about. No one's talking about the drug problems in places like Seattle and Portland and San Francisco and the level of what's going on out west. No one's talking about that in the major media. So unless you live near one of these places, you don't know. And I'm seeing that the war on drugs has been lost, people. We've lost. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's only going to get worse. And as poverty rates rise, so will drug use. And, do you guys remember back when they were doing all kinds of the COVID updates, live, Trump was doing live press briefings every single day. Do you remember there was one where they were talking about national security and they were talking about the drug cartels heavily, and it's like there's something to that, there's something to that. If you look at what's happening in Seattle, there's something more to it. It's not just poverty. There is an infiltration of our country via drug addiction. And if you think about, look, the majority of fighting age men, there's a large portion are either overweight, have chronic health issues, or mental issues, or drug addiction, or any of those things. We are not. How many of you could go to war right now if you had to? How many of you could join a battle and protect your family right now? Could you run halfway down the street? Could you run? Will your heart take that stress if a bullet whizzes by your head? Can you handle that? And the reality is a lot of people won't be able to handle that. Anyone ever eat at the Casino Maristar? Nevada, yes. It's pretty good. All right. You are making it funny. You're stuck in Lebanon right now? And I can think of worse places to be stuck in. Yeah, TJ Jones, I agree with you about West Coast. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. Illinois wants to legalize small amounts of cocaine and heroin and fentanyl. Yeah, and you're going to turn into a Seattle. That's exactly what's going to happen. Because they're not enforcing drug laws in those states. They're just not. My brother went to check out Seattle. He said basically like they legalize prostitution. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, and the press isn't covering it at all. Because if they did, people would get angry about it. I agree with you, Jose. Battleborn. In a couple of years, Snorelord stays in bed and the Snorbot speaks to us. There you go. Getting serious analysis, Cluster Trucker. Yeah, if the street's really short, I could probably run down my street maybe, but then I'll be spent. You see my community page? I posted a DOT level 1 cheat sheet. Says great freight stage logic. No, I will check that out. What restaurant is good? Nevada, the places I've eaten in Ameristar is the buffet place. And then the sports bar was pretty good. I think that's the only ones I've done. So they also got a Sbarro's and Burger King, but screw those. Yeah, James Neal, I agree with you 110%. Yep, John, I've seen that. All right, Thomas Wilson, thank you. Have a good nap. A lot of this is all perspective. They want you to believe, yes, some trends have trended to the negative, but the future is not bleak. When you retire, smoking a joint? Okay. I'm fluffy, but I imagine I could jog my block. But if it's a San Francisco block, I might as well fight to the death. Mike Williams, do you think that there will be a fuel shortage this summer due to lack of drivers? No, because here's why. If it becomes a national emergency, they will get it done. Just like when they needed the respirators and they needed the face coverings and all that, the government got it done. We went from seeing $50 box masks to $20 box masks. And so if it becomes a national emergency, the National Guard will step in. It's I don't know who's sharing that narrative or spreading that narrative. Money talks. If these fuel companies would just give us some more money, they might be able to find drivers. So. Yeah, Clyde, notifications have been kind of off. Hey, kitty. Look I got this cat. He's very happy. He's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Look, you're cute. Look at that. That's where he's purring. Hey, come here. What are you doing? Chase off that noisy bird. Nevada, that's exactly what my plan is, right there. It was a news article about fuel shortages. Anything to jack up the prices. Sometimes crises, however you say that, the plural version of crisis. Sometimes that's generated to make you think it's a dire situation when it's not. You know, that's just how it is. All right, Jonathan Wheeler, good night. Gasoline shortage was on freight waves. You think the shortage of drivers just churning? I think it's real this time. Sean, I'm gonna put this out here. If there is a shortage of drivers, it's for several reasons. Okay, number one, there's a lot of people that don't want to go back to work. Go drive around town, see how many help wanted signs you see. Businesses are closing not because they're losing money, but because they can't hire anybody. And so the longer these stimuluses go, and the longer this unemployment goes, and the longer this goes on, people will become fat and lazy. That's what they want. And so what happens is you have shortages of supplies, shortages of materials, shortages of, well, you know, I'd like to fix your roof, but it's going to be about a month because I only have one crew and I'm barely keeping them going. You know, and so what happens is, let's say you're a contractor that builds roofs, right? Well, materials just went through the roof. If those of you who shop for wood, you know what I'm talking about. And so what happens is now that contractor can't pay his guys as good. Or he's going to have to charge more, which means less work. You know, hey, you know that hole in the roof, I'll just patch it myself and call it good, you know, that kind of thing. Trucking's kind of dealing with the same thing. And, you know, so with insurance going up and fuel going up, you know.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Do you want eggs and almond bread?
Yeah.
Okay. What about some cauliflower or mashed cauliflower?
No, I'll say that for later.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Isn't she awesome? So the driver shortage, that's very possible, you know, which means it's a driver's market right now. But you know, hey, you know, look, do you guys remember when gas prices went through the roof 10 years ago? What did they, every time gas prices went up, what did they blame it on? Hurricanes. They blamed it on some outside external source that you couldn't really verify. And so, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but you know, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do about it, except be aware of your surroundings. You know, I haven't heard a lot about empty trucks. I think there's an equipment shortage. There is an equipment shortage. Look, if my trailer was totaled today, I ain't finding one. Not without paying out the Indian for it. You know? So there's that. There's no shortage of driving, it's the government insurance. Building materials is the biggest problem. That is going, look, your groceries have gone up, your materials to build things have gone up. You can't find certain parts for vehicles. They can't finish orders of building vehicles. They can't finish orders of building everything. I mean, look at the ammo shortage. So these are the lasting ripple effects of what the initial rock in the pond of the COVID was. And you know, and I'm telling you, it was like a nuclear bomb went off. It was like there's so many micro issues that, you know, and the narratives are just absolutely nuts. And so like this anti-cop narrative, that's like straight out of RoboCop. You remember that? I mean, it's and you see these dystopian films and stories like 1984, Fahrenheit 451, and we're living that. And the kids don't know that. The kids don't realize that because they didn't know the country like we did, 40 years ago. As far as driver shortage, I think a lot of guys are becoming owner operators right now. Megas can't get new guys because schools were closed. That's true. I believe that. Well, it's not true, but I believe that. It might, whether it's true or not, I believe that. I'll just put it that way. Some say the equipment prices are here to stay for a long time. Yes, Sean, I believe they are. The days of $30,000 brand new trailers are gone unless something major happens that forces a lot of trucking companies out of business. I agree with you. I agree with you, Jose. Dang. Nothing happened to my trailer. I said if something happened to my trailer. You'll give me a quality pumpkin box as replacement. I think I've fixed them all. Steve Berger is the master at fixing pumpkin trailers. That's it. Cash is king. You just nailed it. That's what I was trying to say. I didn't know how to say it in those words. Look, I'm screenshotting that. Oh. Dang it. Yeah, there we go. I think they're trying to hide inflation by saying there's shortages, so the price is going up. Really, it's inflation. I believe that wholeheartedly. I agree with you, Dave. Nomadic Brick, good evening. When will I buy a new truck? Just wondering. To buy a brand new truck, like 5 miles on the odometer, that's not going to happen. I'm not taking the FET hit. If the right truck came along, I'd probably think about it. But it would have to be something ridiculous, like something, I don't know. It would just have to be the right truck at the right time. Like I would buy Provost's truck if he wanted to sell it. Thomas Wilson's got a good truck, but I don't see them getting out of their trucks anytime soon. Because I know they take care of their equipment. It's very good. But right now, knock on wood, we hit, short of an engine rebuild, I think we'll be okay. Warren Buffett is saying inflation is here and it's going up. Yes, that's why they want to increase minimum wage to $15 an hour. Fire emergency whistle keeps going off where I'm at. I may not survive the night in this lot. Federal government needs to make everyone go back to work. I see the McDonald's offering $1,500 bonuses. That's what, look, I remember it was way back when Obama was president, and they interviewed a small business owner who was struggling to keep employees because he could barely afford to pay minimum wage. And the unemployment in the area was above minimum wage. And he can't compete with that. And so no one wants to work. And so this COVID thing is a huge nuclear weapon that's going to decimate small businesses, trucking and otherwise. And when you see restaurants, McDonald's, $1,500 bonuses, they're pulling out all the stops just to get people in. And then, people, if you have someone that's been off for a full year, now they've gained weight and they've got anxiety. I know a lot of people that have anxiety now that didn't a year ago. Just dealing with people, just dealing with public. You know, especially if you're the guy that was buying the Walmart, you know, pick up and go, or you're getting things delivered, everything getting delivered and all that. You know, and you haven't been in public. You know, there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of people that are afraid to go back to work. So it's this is, look, guys, this is decimating small businesses to a level that we will not understand until it's too late. That's it. What's a P&D driver? Output slows down not because of true shortages, but because of rising supply costs. Jimmy Joe, yeah, that's a big part of it. I agree as well. The U.S. dollar took a massive hit, which caused the inflation. Money does not grow on trees. Sean, I can't answer that. I don't know. Pick and delivery. Okay. That kitty. Cat wants in. Look. He's struggling. He's like, let me in, you bastard. Hey, wife, if you're watching, let the cat in. Hello, kitty. I'll let her in. Let him in. All right. Oh, yeah. She was about to do it. Oh, so. Look, there's a pandemic going on, but it ain't what you think. So, anyways, oh, and people need to stop asking me if they're getting the big V, if you know what I mean. It's none of your business. Stop asking that question. It's none of your business what I do. Thing to watch when they switch to digital currency, which, you know, kind of did when, you know, we all had to go to our debit and credit cards, you know, because there was a cash shortage. The big V. Figure it out, Steve. Oh, TJ and Pill Rider chatting on the CB radio today. All right, guys. We usually go an hour, but no, not of a second. RN, way ahead of you. So, look, you know what? I hope not. Look, I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom. I'm just a realist. And, you know, when everybody else seems to be losing their mind, the calm, cool, collected ones will have the power. You're right. Some people are anxious to go out in public again, mentally taking its toll on a lot. It has. It's about time, Burger. Anyways, I guess that's it. That's all we got to say. So, I keep thinking I'm going to take my live feeds and chop them up and release them as smaller videos. But I don't know, maybe I'll have time this week to do that because I won't be driving. So, yeah, I agree, Nevada. That's kind of how I am. You're not stupid, Steve. Look, you know, my buddy Provost has always said, you can't, there's a lot of stuff that's out of our control. Doesn't matter if it's going to happen or not. The only thing you can control is what's in front of you. You know, make preparations for anything that might come down the line. You know, and just have a plan B, plan C, plan D. You know, what is it that SoCal always says? You don't have to get ready if you're always ready. you know, something of that nature. So, but anyways, guys, my dinner's probably close to ready. If not, my back's hurting because I'm hunched over like a Neanderthal. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody that's coming here tonight. If you're out there driving, be safe. You know, prepare and relax.
Dinner's ready.
There you go. Peace.
Hi, drivers.